Raise your hand if you like birthdays. Some of you. I really love birthdays. I loved blowing balloons and taping them all over the house. I loved my overexcited cousins coming over. And I really loved having a cake with my name on it. But in 2007, my brother, who had multiple disabilities, had fallen very sick. And for the first time, my family didn't celebrate my birthday. On the following day, I was very angry. I barged into my brother's room. My mom was also there. With tears in my eyes, I said to my mom, I wish I was sick, because then you would have cared about me. I left the room in anger, and an hour later, my brother left us. 2 weeks later, I started going to school. On my first day, a friend comes to me and says, Hey Labib, I'm very sorry for your loss, but a lot of people have been telling me that your brother is mad. That really hurt. I wanted to tell my friends and all of the people around me that people with disabilities, like my brother, are not insane. They're not useless. And I wanted to change the way they view disability. So with that in mind, in 2015, I started InclusionX. Our first project was InclusionX Connecting Circles. So the rationale behind this is pretty simple. In Bangladesh, if you want a world beyond your classroom, you have to go to school events where students from all across the city come and partake in different activities. But they are not inclusive for people with disabilities. And there are schools for disabled children who have events as well, but they also don't include non-disabled children. So I wanted to bring them together under one banner. And thus, InclusionX started co-hosting programs that would allow students with or without disabilities to partake hand in hand. We collaborated with schools, art institutions, galleries, cultural academies, and all of them hosted over 10,000 people plus till date. So with all the connections that we have made, we started a second project, which is InclusionX Joy of Computing. What we wanted is to equip students with disabilities with something tangible, a skill that they can be employed for. So we started recruiting high school and university students, and we started training them. And they would then teach computing skills to children with autism, with Down syndrome, with cerebral palsy. One of the students of our Joy of Computing had a mother who came up to me. So what she said to me in short was this, that my son, who's 25 years old, doesn't even know alphabets. How in the world are you going to teach him computing? Today, that son does not only know how to open a computer, he can make complicated models, and that too in 3D. Today, we have started what we have founded from one class, and we took it to 150 plus classes. We started with one single trainer, and now we have trained more than 150. With this, we also wanted to make sure that we include students with disabilities in other sort of programs. That led to the founding of InclusionX Health. So currently, we have two main angles to these projects. We want to train the students' parents and their guardians about menstrual health and how to take care of them when the period comes. Because we have seen that girl students' attendance, especially in the disability-focused schools, is disproportionately less, and we don't want that to happen. And on the other hand, we have a mental health project that is in the pipeline. Now, these few projects that we have done are all being conducted by students aged between 15 to 25. These are youth who are seeing disability not from the perspective of pity, but they're seeing disabled students as their colleagues, as their classmates, and even their competitors. Now, that really is a unique way of viewing disability, and that gives our students dignity as well as opportunities. The projects that InclusionX started, they are very easily scalable in almost anywhere in the world. If you here, who are hearing me speak, want to start a club in your school where students volunteer to teach computing to local children with disabilities, please let us know, and we would be absolutely honored to help. If you want to start any event, or if you have an existing event where you want to include children with disabilities, please let us know how we can help. But in short, it can be really easy to do this. And if we don't, we will be depriving 1 in every 7 persons who have disability in this world. There are 1 billion disabled children. And if we give up on them, it will be a failure. And we can't fail when success can be so easily achieved. Thank you so much. And I would love you to send us a message on our Facebook or our email if you want to get together and do something like InclusionX in your own communities.